Good morning. My name is Sourabh and I'm here with an idea and a thought. All good? So, we have a theme for the day and that's called coloring outside the boundaries. And I thought why not come up with a topic that's called a training you never thought about but you have it. So let's start with a story of a small child who was a dog lover and he used to play with a stray dog every single day of his life. And one day he thought, why not bring him home? He adopted the dog, bring him home, and the dog was a mess because he was a stray dog. And he jumped around and broke things at home, even pooped on the sofa. Crazy stuff happened. That daddy at the home became very, very angry. And rather than throwing the dog outside home, he said, okay, I love my son. Let me bring a dog trainer so that we can train this dog to live with us as a family. He wanted him to become part of the family. And the next day, a dog trainer comes and it's time for a little puppy to learn the civilized manner to live with a family. And how many of you have seen dog lovers, right? Okay, they train their dogs with a lot of love. They even started giving them the names. So how the training happens? The training is a very simple process. The dog trainer will do certain actions. If the dog can repeat it, he will reward the dog immediately with a biscuit or a piece of food, right? That's how the repeated actions becomes a training and dogs start learning what to do, when to do and when not to do things. The little child, he observed the entire training and he said, okay, this is easy. I can also do the same with this dog. He took it as a play and even when the dog trainer was not there, he kept doing it. Tommy sit, Tommy stand, Tommy run, Tommy catch that thing. It kept going over the years and the child never knew he was also training the dog but not just playing with him. And the dog and the child grew up. And this child, when grew up, he had some logical thinking sinking in and he's like, this dog is doing certain actions that are not required anymore. Let me teach him new things. And he started to try the same process of teaching him, but he failed to do so. And then he was shattered. He said, what is happening? Why can't I train this dog? And then he consulted the dog trainer back again. He said, okay, you learned from me what actions I am doing, but you could not understand the psychology behind the training. The child never knew that he is also getting trained in the process to do similar certain actions. That's why I say a training you never took, but you have it. Now, this thing can be very much relatable to who we are, okay? And we think we all are trained in certain structures of our life, in families, in the school. So let's go with the first structure. We are a newborn baby, we get into a family like this small puppy. And we just learn everything from our religion, our habits, a good part of our behavior, and our food, our language, everything from our family. And we don't have any logical reasoning behind why they call water a water. We just start copy pasting. Mom said this is water, child says this is water. Mom said this is a toy, the child says this is a toy. And this is how the life goes in. The second and the biggest structure of our family and training is schooling system. From nursery, a play school to 12th standard, you are in a fixed structure of training. How does it happen? You will be able to relate to again the dog. The teacher will say 2 plus 2 and it is 4. How many of you actually logically know why 2 plus 2 is 4? What is 2 all about? What is this number all about? We don't know. I still don't know. But we use it every single day because somebody taught it to us. It is coming down from generation to generations. And 3 plus 3 became 6. The tables got up and we are all set for the things. 18 years of hardcore training of repeating the same process. What happened in this process? We got trained to just copy paste what other people are doing. So when we want to take a decision, even just to buy a new phone or a laptop, we go to a friend, okay bro, which one you bought? And let me also buy the same thing. We won't experiment or try to find out a new piece or a new brand or try to understand my usage and my features. We never do that much of a research before even buying a small product. Talking about life as a whole, is there any problem in copy pasting these structures? Some of them are successful structures, some of them are not. So for me, there is no problem in copy pasting these structures. But you tell me, if Henry Ford would have just created another cart with a horse, would we have the Ferraris and Rolls Royces today? No. A man took a decision that there is something, a 4-stroke engine can be made that will run on its own with a driver and the entire mechanical system, and this horse is not required. The first car that he created was even slower than the horse cart, and people laughed at him. But he evolved in the process, made processes better and better, and today we have a lot of amazing automobiles that has increased the speed of our communication and commutation. There are many, many crazy people who have come down on this planet, created amazing things that took humanity positive and took humanity negative, right? People have created nuclear bombs for destruction also, okay? They create bad things also. So first message of mine is, when you innovate beyond just copy pasting, please do it for the sake of positive humanity so that we grow further, not the negative side of things. Keep your intent right while innovating. That is the most amazing process I have learned in my life. Moving ahead, when you think of any structures, okay, one of the biggest structures of my life was mechanical engineering. I was a mechanical engineer. So I say I was a mechanical engineer because I took the degree, I did some work in engineering, and then I completely left it, moved on to something very, very different. One most amazing thing I took away from entire engineering as a study-based thing is that it is all about experimentation. There are no fixed results, and I worked 2 years into product development, and we know the only way to succeed into a product development was to hit and try. You create something, you check whether it works or not, then you create it again, then you create it again. Hit and try is the only motive. There is no fixed structure, there is no one capsule that fits everyone. So this is how I learned one thing, a distinction. A distinction is a thin line between what to copy paste and what not to copy paste and innovate. How about our careers? So if I ask you a question, how many career opportunities or career streams can you count on your fingers right now within next 10 seconds? Maybe 10, 15, 20? Somebody who's a very good audacious reader can find out 30, 40. But there are close to 74,000 kind of professions, businesses, and ways of earning money. But what are we doing? We are still thinking about engineering, MBA, CA, lawyer, chartered accountancy, and anything that is professionally available as a degree. My mindset broke about all these myths around 4-5 years ago when I was in a meeting at a 5-star hotel, and I saw a guy sitting with 10 glasses of wine alone, and he was just staring at those wine glasses, smelling them again and again, tasting them, keeping them back. So for good 1.5 hours, I observed him when I was in meeting. I could not really do the meeting because this guy made me really curious. Finally, I walked up to him. I said, okay, what are you doing? No, these are 10 glasses of wine. Nobody drinks so much wine in an afternoon, okay, sunny afternoon. He was like, I'm a professional wine taster. I'm like, okay, this is a kind of profession, and what happens with this profession? What problem are you solving? He said, for these 5-star hotels, there are many wineries that come to them, okay, keep our wine in your bar, okay, and I help them choose the right wine according to their customers. What kind of customers come to this hotel? I said, okay, how much you get paid for this? He said, for one visit, I get paid around $10,000. It's close to 7 lakh rupees in Indian currency. It was crazy. I'm like, okay, what I was doing as an engineer is really not worth it in terms of if I talk about making money. Next going, I found a lady recently on LinkedIn, and she helps new moms to keep their baby names. She's in London, an Indian, and she charges close to 1,500 euros per name, and she is keeping 10 names a month, close to 15,000 euros. Ever thought about a profession like this? Somebody who's good with names and finding out new terms. Never thought about like this, right? Even if you go back and say to your parents, I want to become a name keeper, they'll say, okay, what kind of a profession is this, right? How many of you tried YouTube channel sometime in life and your parents say, oh, this is a waste of time? But today we have one of our unicorns that was generated from YouTube. So YouTube to unicorn, it's a 6-year journey. It's a $1 billion company today, right? So the professions are changing, the way is changing, and we need to rethink, relearn, retrain. Now, why are we not retraining? Any idea? Okay, we don't know the logics behind things. We are not retraining because somebody told us an old dog cannot learn new tricks. But that was for dogs, not humans. Right? It was for a dog. Because a dog doesn't have a logical reasoning ever in his life. Although they are the most amazing creatures, I love them too. They're most loyal creatures also, but they also don't have a logical reasoning. Once they learn something, they learn it for a lifetime. Right? And this is what happens with humans. We are trained over a period of time, even in what to think about my own self. So we don't know ourselves, we are not aware, we see ourselves from other people's eyes. Okay, so first time you scored very good in your class and your teacher said, oh, you are a brilliant child. You felt happy and you went back home. Next year, you scored a little less and your teacher said, oh, you lack potential, you are not disciplined, you are not focused. You got depressed a little. And because you get depressed, second time again you underperformed. Now your mom, your dad, your brother also said, oh, you are not performing. No, you can't do this. On an average, a child by the age of 20 has been told 1,60,000 times why you can't do something or why you should not do something. That takes away our risk-taking capacity and capacity to experiment with life. I stand here in front of you. I have been experimenting with life, and yes, it was not easy. So in past 10 years, I've changed 7 careers. So started with mechanical engineering, entered into BPO sales, then sales and marketing, distribution channels for lifestyle brands, then became a coach and a consultant, then became a community builder, content creator, a book author that got a Golden Book of World Records, and then a consistent content creator. So a lot of people ask, how did you become an influencer? I had never thought of becoming an influencer because that was not a career for me. I got passionate about writing content. So the social media platforms became a dumping ground of my thoughts, of my experiments, and that's why people started following because it was the most original content. I was not researching content on Google and writing. So experiment and growth. These are the 2 common words I think you should all take away with you today, because these are the only things that matters. Success, very objective word. We really don't know what is success all about. There's no definition to it. Growth has a definition. Today you are at 1, tomorrow you are at 1.1, you are growing. Experimenting, you will learn a lot. That's a process of learning, of personal growth and everything. So you are not an animal, you are a human being, right? So let's understand it from a different perspective now. A fish can swim, but can it ever climb a tree? No. A dog can run. Can it fly? No. A bird can fly, but can it run like a dog? No. But we are trying to copy paste in a similar way. But as a human being, when we are born, we don't know anything. We get trained over a period of time, and this training is nothing but a hard wiring in our brains. It is easy to break that hard wiring if you understand that it is just a hard wiring and not your habit. How many of you think you are extroverts or introverts? You have given yourself those names. It is nothing at all but a training. Maybe you are living in a family that says, okay, shut up, you need not talk. And they kept you shut for 20 years. Now you don't like to talk. Right? But you were born in a family who loves to listen to you and your ideas and your experiments. You end up becoming an entrepreneur because you are experimenting every single day. Okay? So I think over these years, with all these professions, what happened was another training to me. The training was very, very simple. The training was to get over my fears of being consistent at one place. What is the fear mostly? So whenever a lot of students come to me and ask, okay, Sourabh, should we do MBA in a particular industry? And the question is not about MBA or anything. They are asking me scope. Scope in terms of, okay, if today I do this course and spend 50 lakh rupees of my parents, how long this will serve me? Will it serve me 30, 40 years or a lifetime till my retirement? That kind of a scope they are looking for. correct? I am not looking for that kind of a scope. I look for this. Okay, today I'm doing this. It's going to make an impact to the world. It's going to impact me in terms of making me money, in terms of my family and my peers. If it goes 3 years, good, right? I'll continue this for 2 years. Next year, I'll start learning something that is going to serve me for next 3 years. So I'm going one thing at a time. Today, the world is changing super fast. What changed in 3 decades earlier now is changing in 3 months. So there used to be a way in marketing when we used to say, okay, let's build a long-term strategy. Today, it doesn't work. What we do now is, let's build a 3-month strategy and improvise on the way, experiment more and more. That's why this term growth hacking came into picture rather than marketing. Growth hacking is all about experimenting with things and services. So my last message to you with some amazing things that I learned from mountaineer. So this mountaineer went on Mount Everest. He has been a climber. All his life, he climbed best of the mountains. Mount Everest was his last. And because of multiple reasons of health and environment, he had to come back halfway. And he was a little disappointed initially, but then he stood in front of the mountain, looking in the eyes of the mountain, if mountain is a human being, and said, you as a mountain will never grow. I as a human being will. And I'll come back again. This guy has done Mount Everest 3 times after that. He takes another mountaineers and trains them today. So, break your chains of the earlier training that you never wanted to have, but you have it, and train yourself in the areas that are more relevant today. Thank you so much.